Samantha from Jessima Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a pair of hammered metal earrings using polymer clay. Now, we're going to be wanting a focal bead that kind of looks like a gemstone, so I have saved some of my malachite from the other day, and I'm going to be using it to create a stone bead as well as then adding that to the hammered metal pieces. You can use any kind of stone technique you want. I've chosen malachite, but turquoise would look quite well as well, so make the bead out of whatever you want. So I'm not going to do that right this second, I'm just going to have that off to the side. For now we're going to be focusing on the faux metal pieces. You're going to want a piece of polymer clay rolled out to about 1mm to 1.5mm thick, and I'm going to be using black. You can use any brand you want. I'm going to be using Primo today. And you want to cut out the shape of your pieces first, and so I'm just going to be using this little teardrop shape cutter. I also am going to be using a little circle cutter as well, and you're just going to cut those out and remove the clay, and that clay can go off to the side. We'll probably use a little bit of that later, but the whole point of that is to save on clay, because these are now going to get covered in mica powders. I'm going to be using silver and copper mica powders. And again, feel free to use whatever brand you want. These are the ones that I sell on my Etsy store, as well as the cutters that I sell on my Etsy store. I find they work quite well because they're very concentrated in colour. Just pop those there for the moment. Let me just bring you down a little bit. There we go, so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And I would recommend just picking these up off the tile, because you want to cover the entire thing in mica powder, and then we're going to stamp it. And again, feel free to use whatever shapes, any colour mica powder you want. You could even change up the colour of clay. If you don't have mica powders, you could also use metallic polymer clays. I find the effect is not as realistic, but it gets the job done. So I'm just picking these guys up, and then the next step is going to be to actually make a hammered metal stamp, and I've already made some. These are two that I've got. I actually have a video showing how to make them, but I'll give you a general idea of how to do that. You would take a piece of polymer clay, generally scrap. So let's use this black as an example. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab some ball stylus like this, and you're going to go in and stamp that clay, creating this kind of effect. Then you're going to move around to different sizes and just keep layering that effect on top of each other until you get something that looks like this. You then will bake this for about an hour at Primo's recommended temperature, and then from there you're going to take another piece of clay and you're going to stamp this, and you should end up with something like this. You're then going to bake this and you will have two hammered metal stamps. And the reason I am using stamps rather than just going ahead and using ball stylus to create it is because I'm going to be sandwiching my pieces between these two stamps so that my effect is double-sided. So that's just something to keep in mind. Right, and let's work with these ones first. So I'm going to grab that, and they're going to be silver. I'm just going to grab that powder and I'm going to give it a generous coat. And I like to use black as my background clay colour because I find that it gives the piece almost like an antique look. But you can change up the colour of clay in the background and it will add a little bit of a different effect each time. Also go and brush up those edges. And don't worry if the piece distorts a little bit, that is perfectly okay. We're going to be texturing it, as I said before. so it is going to not maintain its shape. It's going to maintain a general idea of what the starting shape was. So if you don't have cutters, you could even cut it out by hand and that would work perfectly fine. Then once you've got those done, go ahead and do the same thing with the copper powder. You're just going to take that and you're going to coat your little discs in powder until they have a nice copper finish. And again, you also want to grab the edges. Then once those are done, you're going to bring over your textures and you're going to lay those pieces of clay down onto your texture. And I like to do them all at once. So just take those, and I know everything's very messy right now. There is method to the madness here, so don't worry about that. Alright, and once you've got them situated, grab the other one, just make sure it covers everything, and then give it a press. And the nice thing about the mica powder is it will act as a release, so you don't need to worry about covering the stamps or the clay in cornstarch. And I'm just flipping it over so that I can make sure I press from the other side. And then lift up, and there we go. You should end up with something that looks like hammered metal. And then the trick is to gently peel that up off the tile. Go, those are the two discs. And then I'll peel this one up. And there we go, you can see they got very distorted. Also, as far as the mica powder goes, it is very easy to remove. Just grab something like a baby wipe and you can clean that off very easily, so no worries about that if you have that on your clay. Now, this, you can still see that there's some black peeking through, so at this point I'm going to bring over a brush and finish up and finesse the mica powder finish. Okay, so you're just going to grab a little brush and I'm going to move some of the, if they're the wrong color, I'll move them away. I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to brush that over the surface. And I'm just being careful because at this point I don't want to distort it. And I'm just going to tap that around, and then I can use my finger to just finish that up, and you can see there how it brightens up the effect. And that might be something you don't want. This is more of an antique copper finish, so, an antique silver finish. So if you would prefer that, then skip applying more mica powder. It's not completely necessary, but I really do like having that brighter silver finish. And I'm going to repeat this process with the little copper discs as well. Okay, and I've just popped them to the side on a piece of paper, and this is how they look. This is how they're going to get baked, just sitting on this piece of paper. And I don't mind if they're all kind of not completely flat. I prefer if they're a little warped. So those are going to be on a separate piece of paper from the malachite beads. For the malachite beads, I want you to just grab some clay and I want you to make your core. And the important thing here is just to make sure that you have the same amount of clay for both of the beads. So I will make both cores at the same time. I think that one's too big. And again, feel free to make whatever bead you want. I'm just going to be using the malachite today because I think it will look nice with this kind of copper and silver mix. And those look to be about the same size, so that should work. You're then going to grab over the malachite. Also, there'll be a link to this tutorial in the description below, so if you are interested in learning how to make this, there will be a free tutorial available through the link in the description. Then just decide which side you like the best. I like the other side, so I will flip this over and I'm going to just cut it in half. I'm just going to make a very small cylinder. Place that down, and I'm going to just trim up this edge here, and then wrap that malachite around my piece. And I'm okay if it overlaps a little bit because this piece is very thin. My only concern is trying to get those stripes to kind of line up with one another, which is going to be quite difficult, but I might be able to get something to work. There we go, that's close enough. Then you're just going to pinch in these edges so that it covers up the black. Pinch that in. There we go. And then just give it a good old roll to smooth everything out. And I'll do that a bit because you want to smooth out all of the cracks, and you want to make sure that everything's together. And then I'm going to just shape that, and if I have any areas where the black shows, because I've got some areas there, I can then grab that clay that I still have over here, and I'm just going to grab a teeny little piece and place that over so that it doesn't show as much. I don't mind the edges because those are where the holes are going to be. And then just again roll that up to smooth everything, and then just get it into a round shape. Okay, and there we go. And then I'm gently going to press to get it into kind of a fat rondelle shape rather than just a round. There we go. I'm going to go place that to the side, and I'm going to make another one. And there we go. Now I've just got them sitting on a piece of paper. They're now going to get baked for about 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature, and then when they're done they're going to get varnished. These ones might get a little bit of a sand just to clear off any mica powder that might have gotten onto the surface. They're then going to get varnished. Can't remember if I said that already. And then we'll assemble them into a pair of earrings. Alright, and I am now ready to start varnishing them. Now I varnished the other pieces already just to kind of get ahead of that drying process because I had to varnish both sides. But I have this one still, and I've varnished this side, and so I've waited for that to dry, and now I'm going to varnish this side. And I'm going to be using Varnishing water-based gloss varnish, and you're just going to pop that varnish on in a nice thin coat. It's mostly to secure that mica powder to the surface and to seal it in so that it doesn't rub off with use. Okay, and that's all you have to do really. And then as far as the beads go, I have drilled them already, and I'll show you how to drill in a bit, but I have got them on a piece of wire, and you're going to take those and you're going to either brush around the beads to give them a coat of varnish, or you can dip them directly into the varnish, and then you're going to let those dry. And all of this takes roughly 15 minutes to dry. Once that's done, I'll show you how to drill your holes. Alright, and here's everything once the varnish has dried. Now, I'm just going to quickly, this one I had already drilled the hole before I applied the varnish, which is something I shouldn't be doing because I have to re-drill then because the varnish ends up clogging the hole. What you should do is what I've done with this one, where I've waited until after varnishing. And you're just going to take a little handheld drill, and you're just going to pop a hole right into the top of your little silver piece. and just give that a good clean out, make sure it's a nice clean hole. There we go. And then we're ready to assemble. And I'm going to assemble using these pieces first. And you're also going to want some spacer beads. I've got copper spacer beads and a little eye pin. I'm going to take that, I'm going to place this down, then the copper bead, the faux malachite bead, copper bead again. There we go, that's what I need, and then I'm going to trim off. That looks to be about enough, and I'm just going to try to hold both pieces so that it doesn't go flying off into potentially someone's eye. And then you're going to use a pair of round nose pliers to create a loop. And that loop's a little too big, I've got a little too much wire. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to snip that wire. It's a little difficult from that angle, but there we go. And then continue wrapping my loop so that it's nice and tight. Alright, and then you can kind of fuss things around so that it sits correctly. Then just grab a copper jump ring. I'm going to open that, pop this through the loop of my silver piece, loop that onto the base of my other link piece, and then finally grab a ear wire, and you can either open up the ear wire or the loop over here and slot those together and close back up. And there we go, that is the earring. It's a little bit more of a component earring. I thought it would be interesting to show that off. I rarely do that. But yeah, I thought it was a nice demonstration of a faux metal effect. And I have already made the other one, so let me just bring that little guy over. Here we go. And there we go, that's how it looks. It's a little difficult to show because it's not the prettiest lying flat. But yeah, that is just about it. I think this technique would work really well with just about any gemstone bead. I've used the malachite one, but I think turquoise could also be a really good addition. Also, feel free to swap out the powders for something else if you want. You could try gold powders, you could try brass as well. Lots of different things that you could do. But yeah, that is just about it. I really do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please do consider becoming a member. There is a join button just below this video, or a link to my Patreon account. They're both one and the same, where you gain exclusive access to videos not available on YouTube, or early access to YouTube videos that are going to come out. Another way to support the channel is to view my Etsy store, where I sell things such as the cutters that I used in today's video, along with a number of other polymer clay related tools and supplies. And another way to support the channel that is completely free is to leave a like and subscribe, as I do videos like this just about every single day, so I'm sure you won't want to miss anything. But that is just about it for today. I really do hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.